Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and my name is Teklam Kumbo. You can call me TK. I like to call myself too blessed to be stressed. So on this episode, I want to share with a young person my career journey. Yes. So I want to share with you the lessons that I learned during my career and things that you need to pay attention, okay? So, welcome. Stay, relax, and listen. So, I was so lucky. Yes, I consider myself lucky or too blessed. As soon as I graduated from the university, I think I stayed at home for just 1 month and I needed that break. Yes, I got a job. I got my first job at a company that was publishing and selling law books, law reports. So my clients were the judges, the lawyers, the advocates, and the law school students. Yes. And I got my first job as the sales executive. So, this job, I was so excited because, first of all, it was my first time to make my own money. Yes, because I was paid a salary. And on top of that, I was told I would also be paid commission for as many sales as I make. This job was very exciting because, first of all, I was doing with the, high-end career type of people. Because, people in law, they dress nice, they make good money. It's a great kind of people to be around with. And in case you didn't know, my family, they always wanted me to become a lawyer. But after realizing how much of reading I was supposed to do, I said, no, that's not for me. So I dodged that bullet. But anyways, so that was my first job. And I remember I made so much money at a very young age because so back in my country, the people in the law, industry, they have their annual meeting. And I was able to go there working for this company. We were there to sell all the books, all the reports, So we made so much money. Me and my colleagues, we made so much money because we were paid commissions, we were paid bonuses, we were paid salaries. It was just a great time. So what did I learn from my very first job? First of all, why did I get that job very fast? It's because I used to do well in school. Yes. I remember at some point in my secondary school education, I used to become the first person. Yes, you can look for my, my people that I went to school with. They will tell you. So I used to become number one, and then I moved schools. I used to still do good in school. So I believe that was one of the reasons why I got that first job very early, because they could see that I was a good person. I was a smart person. And when I went for the interview, the way I was expressing myself, they realized that, okay, she can do the job. So that's one thing. And then another thing that I want to share with a young person is that learning language is very important. Very, very important. Okay. So I remember I used to listen to English songs. I used to read books out loud. Like I would just take a book or an article, anything that was in English, and I would start reading it out loud. And then I would hear myself how I pronounce these words. And I would also watch TV and maybe movies, and I would repeat the words that, they would be speaking in English. And that made me speak English at a very young age. This is something most of the people don't know, and most of the people ask me. So most people ask me, which school did you go to? Well, today I want to tell you, I never went to an international school. I went to normal schools. Yes, very normal schools. And this should be an encouragement to anyone. You don't need to go to international schools for you to become great. Yes, it's good. If you can afford, if your parents can afford, go to the best schools. But if your parents can afford the normal schools, you can do some extra things that can help you stand out. So that's my story. So even now that I live in abroad, when I interact with all these people from different countries, they would tell me, by the way, your English is very good. I'll be like, really? They'll be like, yes. I'm like, okay, thank you so much. So that's something that I want. If you're a young person, if you're even thinking of one day traveling abroad, interacting with people from different countries, do your best to learn the language. It will carry you through so many situations. Okay, all right, back to my career journey. So that was another thing that actually made me got my first job very fast. Another thing, it's my presentation, how I look. I believe this is something I got from my parents. I am always smart. I am always presentable. Okay, so I always I make sure I look good. Okay, so when I showed up, and we know one of the qualifications people look on the salespeople, it's how you show up. Okay, so I went to the interview very well dressed, very professional. I expressed myself well, I answered the questions very well, and I got the job. So these are the things that you need to pay attention to. Okay, so after my first job, I got another opportunity to go and work in another company. And this second job was actually a referral from one of my friends. She's called Hilda Gelder. She's my favorite girl in the world. We started as friends, we met in school. She's now a sister. I consider her family, okay? And she knows that. I love her. People say we look alike. So to me, that's a bonus because she is pretty. Okay, so she referred me to the company she was working with. And this is another lesson, that have friends that are intentional, have friends that will be there for your growth, will be there, will mention your name in rooms full of opportunities. I will make a video about that separately. So she told me about the opportunity in their company, and I applied and I got the position. Again, then same things I mentioned. I was able to express myself. I showed up, presentable. I prepared for the interview. So my responses, made me got the job. And then my first job showed that I have experience. So that also helped me to get the second job. And the second job, I can say it's one of my favorite jobs I've ever had. I learned so much on this job. I met great people. I had amazing bosses. One of my bosses is still my mentor up to today. Okay. So the second job, I was, working as a customer service representative in one of the biggest telecommunication companies back in my country. And I learned how to interact with people, because I was working in one of the stores and we met customers from different places. So I learned how to communicate to customers. I learned problem solving. I meant, customer service, all these things that are involved in sales and customer service in general. So after that job, I was promoted to a position in that company where they needed a customer representative manager. No, it was a client relationship manager. Yes. So how did that happen? So the people that were supervising us in the stores were asked to recommend people they think they would qualify for that position, because the company wanted to, to promote from internal. So I was one of the people that were mentioned. And I remember two of my other friends were also mentioned, and we were both called for interviews. And guess who won? Your girl. So I got the position, and they told me why I got the position, because, my responses, my appearance, I showed maturity, and they thought I would be a perfect fit for that role. And guess what? I didn't disappoint, because first of all, it was, a career growth for me, because I now moved from becoming one of the people that were working in the stores to their manager. Okay, so it was a huge growth for me. And I said, okay, so these are the things that actually brought me here, and I need to do better so that I can keep climbing this, corporate ladder. So I did my best on that job. Okay, I showed up to work early. I used to, talk to my boss a lot. I would ask her for questions, for more information. I would go with so many questions, and I learned so much on this job. I remember I used to have conversations with my boss. She used to plan for her, vacations. I asked her, how do you plan for your vacations? And she started telling me about saving for the vacations, how she does it. And this is the same job that I actually learned about, reading books. If you've watched my other video when I speak about how important it is for you to start reading books at a very early age, this is the company that actually taught me to read books. This was the company that took me to meetings that, involved leadership, high managerial levels. I remember I was able to meet, CEOs, directors from very big companies in my country, because I was working with this company and they saw my potential. I believe they were also training me to become, one of the leaders in the company. That's why they were taking me to these rooms. And I was not disappointing. If they say we are going to, to train or to meet with managers from this and this company, I would show up as one of the bosses. I would put on my suit, I would dress like I belong in that room. Okay, and when I go into these rooms, I would pay attention. I would stay quiet unless I'm asked to speak. That's when I would speak, but I would take note what is happening in that environment, because I used to see myself becoming one of them in future. So this is something I want to share with a young person. Always learn. When you're in rooms that you're there by favor, okay, always learn and pay attention. What is happening? All right, don't just go there and be busy on your phone or thinking you were somewhere else. No, you're there for a reason. Your future depends on you being there. Okay, so that was my other job. And then from there, I for some time I tried some entrepreneurship. Things didn't go very well my way. I went back to Korea. So I got another job in one of the biggest companies in the world that is in my country back home. And this one was also one of my, favorite jobs. I had an amazing boss. He was, a foreigner. He really taught me so many things. He was very patient with me because it was an auto industry. Yes, we used to sell cars, brand new cars. So I had an amazing experience driving brand new cars, the cars that comes with all the labels, all the nylons, you're the ones removing them. I had that experience. And that's one of the reasons that made me not to be so crazy with cars. Like, I don't spend so much on cars because my dad used to love cars and I grew up around cars, and I worked, for an auto company. So I've seen cars in my life. I'm not crazy. But it doesn't mean that I don't like good cars. I do, but I just don't spend crazy amount of money on cars. All right. So This company, I met some great people. I made some great relationships. It was a great company to work with. And then I moved to another company again. Yes, because I was looking for growth. I would say in a company, let's say for 2 years or 3 years. And when I feel like there's no room for me to grow anymore, I would always look, for another opportunity somewhere else where I think I can grow. So I moved to another company. And at some point in my life, I really wished I would work in a bank. So this next company actually had a position that required me to work with a bank. So I wasn't employed with a bank, but I was every day in the bank. And tell you what, after experiencing that, I never wanted to work in a bank again. It's not what I thought it was, okay? But it was a great experience, and I was glad I got to experience that, because this is something that I came to realize in life. God is He's such an amazing God. He would always try to give us our heart desires. Sometimes he would just give it to us so that we realize it's not what we really want. Okay, he would just give it to us, and then we will be the one saying, you know what, God, thank you, but no thank you. I don't want this. Okay, that's what happened to me working for this company. I was so excited to go work for this company, but then I was like, no, this is not for me. And then I didn't even stay longer. I moved. So at this point, it's when I moved now to America. And this is gonna be a whole different video, my experience in the United States career-wise. But today I'm just gonna share with you briefly things that I wish a young person would actually pay attention to. So why did I share with you my career journey from back Africa to America? So when I got here, I started with taking care of the elderly, the people in need. You all know those are the first job. You come here, you start making money as soon as possible. And I remember I used to stay inside, and I figured, you know what, this life is not for me. I'm a salesperson. I have a degree in marketing. And my whole life I've been working as a salesperson. So how can I be staying indoors? This is not for me. So as soon as I realized that, I walked away. And I will come to share one day how I landed the job that I do now, where I do sales, and I'm actually not just a salesperson, I'm the customer experience executive. So I deal with customers the minute they walk into the store. Like, hey, how are you? What brings you in today? Trying to find out what their needs and help them, find whatever it is that they're looking for, and make sure the experience is, the best. Okay. So securing this job or getting this job, why did I get this job? Because remind you, so many people coming from Africa, they end up doing, the caregiving jobs, they do cleaning, they do Uber driving, they do these things that everybody do. But there's so many opportunities out there that if you're willing to go after them, you can do something totally different, okay? So, number one, it was the language. Yes, that's why I mentioned, pay attention to the language. If you're going to school that you're studying language, pay attention. Learn that language the best. Learn to speak that language the best, because you never know in future where it's going to help you. So I was able to express myself when I went for the interview, and they asked me so many questions. So I explained my experiences in customer service, my experience in sales, my experience, as an entrepreneur. So I was able to express myself, and they understood me. So they were like, okay, that makes so much sense. And I like the way you communicate. I was like, thank you. So that was one of the reasons why I got, this job. And another thing was my presentation. Same things, how I present myself. I will share this on a different video, how I got an award for the best dressed. Yes. And I haven't been with this company even for a year. So the few months that I've been working there, I was recognized. I was voted with my employees and my bosses that I dress the best when I go to work. Yes. You can follow me on Instagram. I try to post my outfits so that, you can see and agree with them or disagree. I don't know. But I pay attention to what I dress, okay? How I show up to places, I really pay attention to what I put on. So that was another thing. And then the third thing, as I mentioned, was that I do my best, okay? I try to show them that I'm a smart person, okay? I learn. I try to be a fast learner. I learn things very quick. Like if I don't know something, I would ask and pay attention when someone is showing me. And I would try to do it myself, repeat until I master that thing, okay? So those are the things that I need a young person to really pay attention at your young age as you're growing up. These are the things that will really help you as you grow old in your career, in whatever you do in life. These are the things that are going to give you great opportunities in life. And these are the things that can actually make you survive anywhere in the world, okay? I'm an African child, okay? A girl child from Africa. I didn't go to international schools. I didn't have any exposure. But here I am, living in America, working in one of the biggest stores in the world, interacting with people from all over the world. Because where I work, people from all over the world come to shop. So I talk with people from different, countries. As long as they can speak English, we understand each other. Okay? So I thought I should share that today with someone young, someone who is trying to get their things together. Please, please pay attention. Take every season seriously. All right, guys? Your career, take it very seriously because that's where you're forming your foundation. If your foundation is poor, you're gonna struggle in future. All right? So I hope this is gonna help someone out there. Share this with a young person that you think they need to hear this, and I hope it helps you. Again, remember, if you didn't have a great foundation, you can always start today. Don't stress yourself too much because everybody is too blessed to be stressed. All right? So till next time, guys, stay blessed. By the best.